papa found out, he began to shout and started the investigation. It's against the law. It was against the law. What the mama saw, it was against the law. Mama looked down and spit on the ground every time the name gets mentioned. Papa said, oh, forget that boy, I'm gonna stick him in the house detention. Well, I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on my way. I'm taking my time, but I don't know where. You better lose it. We the corona. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Take me away, but the rest of the story leak. Now when the radical priests come to get me released, news all on the cover of Newsweek. Well, I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on my way. I'm taking my time, but I don't know where. You better lose it. Queen of Corona. See me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Remember me and the Julio down by the schoolyard. Yeah, me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Yeah, 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 yeah. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Yeah, 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 yeah. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Yeah, 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 yeah. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Yeah, 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 yeah. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
Hey everybody, welcome to Gootz's Disney Pod. I'm your host, Ray Gootz. Sorry for last week, but we're back this week with a new episode. It's dropped a little late, but it is what it is. We're reviewing the Muppets, the 2011 reboot with Mike Toohey, first-time guest. Mike, how you doing, bud?
Hey, thanks for having me, Gootz. Mr. Gootz, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for doing it. Mike, how long you been in stand-up?
I've been doing stand-up like 7 years, call it 7.
All right, what got you into it, bud?
Are you counting the pandemic years?
You got to count. Even if you did stand-up once, you got to count it.
Oh, I did it, man, friend. I did it on Zoom basically the whole time through that lockdown. Maybe 4 or 5 months it went, completely black, but then I was on Zoom. You're the only one who's keeping Zoom going. You know that.
Me? Oh, with the Dustin Chafin. I don't do any Zoom shows. I just do the Zoom podcast. Why, do you podcast in person now? You back doing that?
Yeah, my podcast, Netflix Book Club podcast. Follow us on Instagram.
Ever since the flood, remember there was all those floods in Queens in September?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I lost a lot of valuable comics. I'm selling my comics now, and it's going really well. But basically, the whole house is an operation of comics, and I just don't want to have people here like moving comics like I'm a hoarder. They're selling, but I had so many selling? In the basement. The basement was just basically wall-to-wall comics. Now they're all over the house because I'm organizing and selling them.
Holy
It looks
crap.
like I've sold nothing. It looks like I went to like a thrift shop, had like 90 boxes of comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've been collecting your whole life?
I from since I was born to 2014. Then I stopped.
You stopped?
Yeah.
You said I gotta stop this? What?
Yeah. Well, they are the hardest fucking thing to lug around when you're moving stuff around. They're the hardest. They're easily damaged. You could have a comic book with $8 grand. You drop it once, it goes down to $5. It's just not worth it. So
wow, you have comics that are worth $8 grand?
I did. It got destroyed in the flood. The first appearance of Miles Morales.
Dude, I was living down in Long Beach, Long Island when Sandy hit, so I lost basically all my possessions in a flood as well. So I feel your pain, man. It's brutal.
Yeah, that's why I haven't brought back the shows yet. I haven't just both floors. I'm up. So this week I've done great, but here this is an audio podcast. I don't know, but look, those are all the ones I have to put on sale after this.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's hundreds.
Yeah, because what I do is when someone buys a batch, I put 2 more batches up, and I sold like 40 batches this week. It's my busiest week, so that's good. Looks like I've done nothing though, but anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
So what got you into stand up?
Oh, it's the classic story. But hold on a second. Did you just say this is a audio only podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so this is just for you and me, so we can look at each other on Zoom.
Well, I record the video in case ever want to make Instagram clips down the road. So.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Now it's good to know. I
Yeah.
showered for this. I wouldn't have if I knew it was just you.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
No, I was due for
I
one.
should have like you know how like Andrew Schultz in the studio. I should have a studio with just like Muppets and Disney shit all around. And
Right.
I invite people in, and then we yell about Democrats. Anyway.
I got into comedy probably. I think it's a somewhat typical story. You know, you're writing a suicide note, and you get a little wordy.
Okay.
And you take it to the stage. I mean, it's a dark point in some people's lives, right?
Were you really suicidal when you decided to do this?
Yeah, that was probably the darkest point in my life, I'd say.
Okay. Up until last Saturday?
Yeah, that was it. Last Saturday.
Last Saturday we got darker. Okay.
Last Saturday, can we talk about it? I broke down on the side of the LIE.
Yeah.
Trying to do a show. Gootz booked me to host a show out in Shirley, Long Island. If you don't know, it's freaking out there.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we broke down in Fresh Meadows, Queens. God bless it. I hope to never return to that place. Side of the LIE for 5 hours.
Yeah, the guy took forever, and then when I got someone to replace you, he replaced me, and the show was like still like 2.5 hours away.
Isn't comedy the best?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing the makeup tomorrow. It's in Medford, which I feel like if the original show was in Medford, we would have made it.
Yeah, Medford's a little bit closer. That's Patchogue. I think that's actually where my car is being worked on right now.
Oh, so you could have rode your bike.
Yeah, I think it's on a ventilator, dude. I think this might be the end.
Yeah, because it's been like 3 weeks now. But yeah, that experience was because at first I'm like, this won't take that long. You call AAA. AAA is supposed to like bail you out. They just made us sit there. And then Rooney came, and I figured like after a while I was like, let's just go to Hooters because I got hungry, and I'm like, you clearly need a drink with everything going on. And Rooney's like, I'm not going to Hooters, and so he just sat in Rooney's car.
Rooney, God bless him. What an angel. I offered him those wings. I was like, let's go get wings, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if you break down in front of a Hooters, it was 2 blocks away. You break down near a Hooters, you're kind of obligated to go get hammered at the Hooters.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah, that truly is. So, but so you were suicidal, and then you decided to get more suicidal and go to an open mic. Is that what happened?
Yeah, something like that. That's sort of basically the way to not get into too much boring, sad sack crap. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was it. I got on stage, but I had an idea of what comedy was. I knew what jokes were. I was a huge fan of it. I feel like because I in my opinion, I got in a little late than some people do, but I put some life in those years, Gootz.
There you go. That's fucking awesome. And were you when you were a little kid, were you a fan of Disney films, Muppet films? What were you into as a little kid?
Yeah, definitely not the Muppets. This is kind of my first sit down and pay attention to these felt covered hands.
Oh, you weren't into the Muppets as a kid?
No, wow. I don't have too much experience at all with the Muppets. This is literally I lost my virginity, last night to the Muppet movie.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah. You popped my Muppet cherry. Disney, sure. I think everyone did, right? Bambi and the Lion King and whatever. But no, not really the Muppets. They never, for whatever reason, I don't know. I wasn't exposed to it or whatever. I knew basic stuff. I knew Kermit and Piggy, and that was basically what I knew.
Well, that's good. So this was your first. Man, I feel bad. If I knew you never saw the Muppets before, I would have gave you one of the good movies. This was your first exposure to the Muppets. This is a reboot. A little history, if you didn't know, and maybe the audience didn't know. The Muppets were kind of like forgotten about, kind of like they are right now. And they were just kind of a thing that was like an 80s, 70s thing. And then Jason Segel wrote the script to bring it back. And Disney greenlit it. And we had this movie. This movie was supposed to be the big Muppet comeback. I don't really know if it did that. What was your thoughts on the movie?
It's funny you said Jason Segel because he does a Muppet thing at the end of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, he does. I think that's where he got the idea that he wanted to do a Muppet film.
Okay, yeah, because that was because I had seen that, and that's so funny. The vampires like a Dracula thing at the end of that. So I saw him, and I go, oh yeah, he must, in real life he must do puppets or whatever. That was my thought, and I literally I took some notes. Wanted to prepare for doing a podcast with the Gootz. I'm not going to come in empty-handed.
Don't come in empty-handed.
And my my first note here is like, I'm going to need an origin story for Kermit. Because I just really don't know what the hell is going on. But what you just said kind of, and it is implied that they're sort of, that's the whole point of the movie, that people have forgotten about them.
Yeah, they were, so yeah, they were forgotten about. Long story, do you need to know where Kermit comes from?
If there is one, it was half kidding, but also I'm like, I don't know about these people,
The continuity is kind of weird. I kind of wish they were just honest and open and like, here's the deal. Since you don't know a lot about the Muppets.
Is there a conspiracy theory? Is this Muppet conspiracy theory?
The Muppets were fucking amazing when Jim Henson was alive. But Jim Henson, and I've had this talk, there's not as there's a lot of different comedic art forms, stand-up comedy, improv, musical comedy, all this shit, and puppetry, right? But Jim Henson was like, imagine if there was like only one good stand-up comic. And everyone else kind of stunk. But one guy who was just even above Carlin, right?
Okay.
And that's kind of how the Muppets were. Like Jim Henson was like the kingpin of puppets. And when he did the Muppets, it was hilarious and it was funny.
Everyone else was doing hacky Muppet stuff.
Well, no hacky Muppet stuff. And then he died. And they've never been able to recapture what that guy did because
he had the vision.
And I feel like puppets, it's very hard to make that interesting.
You could say that again.
Okay. And I kind of feel like everybody that approaches this kind of like they want it to be more of an art form, and they're just, I don't know, there's something missing no matter how many times they keep trying to bring it back. It's just not as good as it was. This guy figured out puppets. He figured out how to make puppets more interesting than cartoons and comedy. And he could he incorporated like Richard Pryor and Carlin. Everyone was involved in the Muppets, and they try to do it, and it just sucks every time they try to bring it back.
That sounds a lot cooler. Pryor and Carlin. I'd have to go back and check out those.
Yeah, Pryor's in the first Muppet movie. There was a lot. He used to have a lot of 70s dark comics in these kids films. When I was telling Lori Palmentary when she did the show, when I was a kid, I thought Richard Pryor was like a child's entertainer. I didn't know he was an X-rated because he would just constantly be around Muppets.
Right.
So I just thought this guy was like the Wiggles. And then
and Carlin was in what was the show Carlin was in with the Nichols?
Station, yeah.
Yeah.
But the first Saturday Night Live episode, Carlin's the guest host, and he does a sketch with Muppets. Like Jim Henson had a segment on Saturday Night Live. That's how over the Muppets were. And it was kind of dirty. He was trying, and then he realized let me pull back the dirtiness and just be regular humor.
Right.
Not because they were talking about banging each other, the Muppets back then.
I didn't realize how much singing there was.
There's a lot of singing. And the original Muppets songs were good. These songs were not good. This is the thing about this movie, man. You can really tell, this is the thing that annoys me about this film, is that it has a very 2010, 2012 hipster vibe.
Okay.
A very I don't know if you remember back in the day, sincere music was kind of in. You get what I'm saying? Sincere
music? I'm not sure what you mean.
Like Mumford and Sons, hipster rock.
Oh, that's so funny. Sincere music.
And every people. So I remember I worked with a lot of college kids at Caroline's, right?
Okay. And
the stuff they were into was very folksy and very salt of the earth bullshit.
Yeah.
And now they all failed in life. They're in their 30s. They're going nowhere. But what?
Just ripping apart these college kids. They didn't do anything.
But back then they were college, and this had very much of the vibe that a lot of the guys were into. Where I don't know if you know all the Jason Segel suits are very tweed suits, and that's not the Muppets to me. It's like some weird Mumford and Sons.
Yeah, this has a Jason
wine
Segel.
fest.
This is like the Jason Segel vibe, big time.
Yeah, I really didn't. And I'm like, dude, this is not.
Not a movie to watch alone, by the way.
Oh, you watched it alone?
Yeah, because the song they sing over and over, "Life's a happy song when there's someone by your side to sing along." And I kept hearing this, and I'm like, yeah, well, must be nice. I don't. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm watching this movie for Ray Gootz, and I'm alone.
You're alone. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the movie is basically Jason Segel has a Muppet brother. I don't know whether the mom fucked the Muppet or they adopted the Muppet. They don't fucking tell you, but just
Wait, they're brothers?
yeah, they're brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's
I guess I
dating,
just thought they were best friends or something.
I think they're brothers, and he's dating Amy Adams, who's a school teacher. They're gonna go to L.A. Amy Adams like, why the fuck you bring your Muppet brother? Which is true. She wants to probably suck his dick all night and. You got a Muppet bopping around.
10-year anniversary.
10-year anniversary, and this guy's bringing a Muppet.
Dragging the Muppet around.
Yeah.
Brutal.
And when they get to LA, they find out the Muppets are no longer together. They reunite them. They drive to Reno, which is very impressive because even Vegas to Reno is like 9 hours. So I'm shocked they got to Reno so fucking. That was the most unbelievable part of the movie. Not that there's Muppets. The most unbelievable part is that they drove from LA to Reno in like an hour.
They made great time.
They made great time. Yeah, that part I was like, now I can't buy this fucking movie. I'm all about Fozzie Bear and Dave Grohl in a band together.
Right. I liked the music montages better than I liked the original sing songs. Like the AC/DC and whatever the other song I forget.
We built this city. Starship.
Yeah. Those were better than just the singing about being alone or whatever.
Or am I a Muppet?
Yeah, or a guy. That was a little bit. Well, that missed the mark for me. I didn't really understand.
Well, when Jim Parsons showed up, I think that the Big Bang Theory. I think the Big Bang Theory destroyed sitcoms forever. The sitcom will never come back because of the Big Bang Theory.
It just became such a mathematical rhythm and beats. Just exactly.
It just was like the fact that was that popular, and it's probably one of the worst acted, written.
Right.
It is just like formulaic jokes after formulaic jokes. The actors are barely trying. He reminds me of Niles Had No Talent from Frasier.
I was gonna say because Niles is great.
Yeah, it's just like, and then when he showed up, I never got that guy. I never got that show, and the fact that like this entire country accepted that show.
That show felt like they used words they thought were like they used big vocab words and they expected people to give a shit. I was like, I don't care. I don't care that you know that word. Who cares? But people loved it, man. I don't know.
I don't get it. I really thought when they announced that show was going to bomb, and it's like I think it went longer than Friends and went. So my whole thing is like they're never going to try now when they make a new sitcom. They're not going to try to make Taxi or even Family Ties, which I used to think was better. I watched it; it doesn't hold up because they're like we can just do the bottom of the barrel shit. Like even the new Pete Holmes show is so fucking depressing. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Where he's a bowler.
Okay.
He decides to get into bowling.
And is he super Christian and that whole thing?
I don't know. No, it's just really unfunny and like.
Oh, they don't even play that because isn't that his story that he was somehow very conservative or he comes from some type of religious background, right? He was married very young and then.
Yeah, and he quit to go do comedy.
But
see, that would be a good show.
That's not even this. He's just a bowler.
He's bowling and his wife's like, "How are you going to pay the bills?" And he's like, "You know, it doesn't matter. You're to pursue your dream." And he's bowling, and they're making fun of him at the bowling alley. And I'm like, you know what's depressing about comedy? This is
really the lousy Lebowski.
He's like, no, the Lebowski be a step up. This is what's really depressing about comedy, by the way.
Yeah,
because I remember like this other comedian who was like very arrogant about how great he was, got on a sitcom, and he was basically being like, "Women are different." You try so hard to stand out in comedy and to be unique and to be your original voice and all to become successful and then do shit that you would shit on. Like Pete Holmes is now telling jokes that if he went into like the governor's little room and saw an open micer do these jokes, he would shit on that guy. But he's now on TV saying those jokes. You know what I'm saying?
It's the privilege, or maybe that's not the right word, but it's the opportunity to sell out. That's all we're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's like you get to a level that you have the opportunity to sell out to be Pete Holmes in a sitcom or Carrot Top or whatever. That's kind of the dream. I mean, it's the only like it's so rare that to find success and have an original voice and do something like that. It's more just like you get to know the right connections, you get people to like you just enough, and then you get to sell out. Who do you get to be?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's what the Muppets did. But so the Muppets, they put on a telethon, they kidnapped Jack Black, and then they reopened their theater, and then they're back until few years later, everyone forgot about them again, and now nobody gives a shit again. Anyway, so they're back with there should be an epilogue now where they had and now it's 2022, nobody gives a shit about the Muppets.
You want this movie to be longer?
That was the other thing, dude. So the original Muppet films are 90 minutes. They're in and out.
Yeah.
The Muppets show up. Steve Martin shows up. Richard Pryor shows up. Joan Rivers shows up. You're like, this is fucking hilarious. And then they take off.
Right.
Like a comedy. Like, this fucking thing was almost 2 hours long. I don't know why. This is the most they focused on humans in a Muppet film. I didn't need Jason Segel standing back there smiling he's supposed to be mentally ill, his character, by the way. He's just constantly like, I thought he was going to break and be like a normal guy. Like he was like putting on a show for his Muppet brother. I'm like, why would I care about these two people? They act like robots.
Him and Amy Adams play this weird like Disney pseudo human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, the Muppet films never had humans like that. So I don't even know why he thought that was a good idea. Like the humans are usually insulting towards the Muppets, or kind of mean. Like Steve Martin, I don't know if you're going to watch the first Muppet movie, but at least watch Steve Martin's scene where he plays a waiter. And he's literally like just so annoyed by Miss Piggy and Kermit. It's fucking hilarious.
Right. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. And it's like the best scene in the movie. And I don't know why he thought like, dude, it was like something out of like the Stepford Wives. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I think so.
It was so fun. Even Amy Adams was acting like I'm like, are these people supposed to be like? If you revealed at the end that they were actually serial killers and the script was a front to murder people, I would have been like, oh, that makes more sense. I don't know why you thought this was a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
The old grumpy men.
Yes.
They were probably my favorite Muppets.
They usually are.
They were pretty funny. They had some good ones. I also liked, I think I wrote his name down, Rolf.
Rolf the dog?
Yeah. I liked that little, he had a quick, why didn't you put me in the music montage? And it's like, well, and then they show him, it's like, you want to get back together? He wakes up from a nap. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
It was like a classic.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that when they go to Kermit, because you didn't see the first movie, he's like, how are we going to get everybody together? Because the first movie is literally, so the first movie is Kermit finds the Muppets, gets them together, and they put on a show, right?
Okay.
But he doesn't know where they are. He just gets offered a contract like by Dom DeLuise. Again, like just so many legends are in these original Muppet films.
Right.
Hey, we want to make a movie about a frog. So he gathers he doesn't know them. He just gathers them to make a movie, and then they make the movie, and that becomes the Muppet Show. But I love the fact, like, how are we going to read together? He goes, we're just going to literally repeat the first movie, which was kind of funny.
Right.
Kermit said that, yeah.
Yeah, who are these people? Who are the diehard Muppet fans?
Well, I mean, I was a Muppet fan until Jim Henson died in 1990. I remember as a kid, they had like a new Muppet special. They had a CBS special like about the death of Jim Henson. And at the end, Kermit didn't talk the whole special because Jim Henson did his voice. And at the end, Kermit talks, and now they had an actor do the voice. And they're like, we're back. And I'm like, no, you're not. This sounds awful. Yeah. This is not Kermit. I was like, you're not back. This is fucking garbage.
Did they bury the puppet in the casket with him?
They should have. They should have taken all the Muppets, just put it with Jim Henson in the casket.
Yeah, just have his face be another face like E.T. among all the stuffies.
Yeah. This is my problem with Muppets. Just imagine like if every comedian tried to capture George Carlin's style, but you can't because you're not George Carlin.
Yeah.
And I feel like every fucking stupid puppeteer, I knew this girl, she's a real jerk off now, she's a puppeteer. These fucking people, they try to capture the Jim Henson. You're not going to be Jim Henson. You got to go a different direction with this if anyone's going to give a fuck. But
you just take these pot shots at these people. It's so great. No names, just like, yeah, she was a real jerk off. She's a puppeteer now, piece of shit. You'll never be Jim Henson, lady.
No, you won't be. You got to go different. What if we all just were doing like George Carlin bits or Richard Pryor bits and like nobody would go see? I mean, maybe people would.
Well, who's the puppet comedian? Everyone loves him. He tours all over.
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham. Even that, I don't even. I know. I definitely had seen Otto and George, but I don't know if I even know a Dunham bit. Like,
they're not good. I mean, he's not very funny. I mean, he had Ahmad the terrorist. Remember that?
Puppet? Oh, did he? So that was like edgy.
He had a puppet that was going to threaten to blow up the theater every 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. They should put that puppet in the next Muppet movie.
I know. I was thinking a dark reboot, maybe like Muppets Get a Divorce.
Well, they tried that. Brian Henson left Disney. He sold these characters, and then he went and did the Happy Time Murders, which was Melissa McCarthy. It was an X-rated puppet film. Yeah, I guess
X-rated.
R-rated.
Okay,
and
all right.
They said it was the most unfunniest fucking thing on the planet.
Yeah.
It's just the thing about the old Muppet stuff is it had an edge, but if you give it too much of an edge, like if Miss Piggy's like, Kermit, fuck me in the ass, it just loses everything.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. What about the school shooter Muppet? Is that too far?
That might be too far. Now, if he does a musical number while shooting up the school.
Yeah, it has to be a music. It has to be over the top.
It has to be musical number, yeah. And then I think you get away with it. But if it's like a deadly serious puppet shooting everybody.
No, it's brutal. It's brutal. Timely.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie. What about you?
No. I mean, I thought, it's a good movie. It's fine. I have a note here, like, I don't have any nostalgia here for these people, for this thing. So, I'm sure a lot of it, I assume, is the nostalgia of these stories and whatever happens, but I didn't have any of that. So just watching as Muppets, I'd say there's tons of jokes. It's joke heavy.
Nothing really that good.
But
I didn't laugh out loud once.
No, I didn't know. It was more like I have to keep watching this because I'm doing a podcast.
You know what? I have nostalgia for the Muppets, and actually, you should. I feel I don't want you to have a negative viewpoint of the Muppets. Muppet shows on Disney Plus. There's some great episodes. Find one with Steve Martin or Richard Pryor. Watch that. It's 20 minutes.
And that's in what, the 70s, 60s, 70s?
Yeah, the 70s. Well, Richard Pryor was a kid in the 60s, so that would have been weird.
Okay.
But watch an episode of Richard Pryor. Watching it, I think there's a couple of other ones with some great comics. I think George Carlin was on one. And you'll get a better 20 minutes and you'll be on the floor as opposed to this shit.
Right.
And that's what I do have nostalgia for the Muppets. I have nostalgia for the Muppet Show. I know how good they can be. And when they recreated the Muppet Show intro, I felt nothing. There was one moment where Kermit is like looking at his old photos. You saw the picture of Jim Henson. I felt a little bit. But they already kind of beat that out of me by starting the movie with so much Jason Segel and Amy Adams dancing like fucking idiots, and I don't see any Muppets for like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've kind of already taken nostalgia out of me because this is not anything I wanted to see. You got to start a Muppet movie with Kermit. You got to right away. You can't have humans. You can't have a fucking debate about gun violence. It's got to be Kermit the fucking Frog, right front and center. We're gonna do this. And
he's kind of a dweeb, but I guess that's what he always is.
Yeah, he's a dweeb, but
a reluctant leading man.
Yeah, he's a dweeb. But he's great, and they work together. But this did not work. It wasn't funny. The celebrity cameos weren't even good. The other Muppet films, the celebrities elevate the fucking scene. Here, I just felt like they were like, I'm standing next to, even Dave Grohl kind of had this vibe like, this is so great, I'm sitting next to a Muppet. That's like the energy they're giving every fucking celebrity.
Right, and that wasn't even the worst one. I mean, they wasted some big names, too. They got Whoopi in there. They got some big people at the end.
John Krasinski.
Yeah, and they're just sort of taking calls. It's like they don't even have lines, or they do, but it's just it's not even a punchline. Just
and then the other Muppet,
calls.
Gregory Hines, they gave like 5-6 minute scene. They would give, like I said, Dom DeLuise. Orson Welles had a 6-minute. They gave people scenes to like act with the Muppets, and I don't know why they didn't do that in this one.
I definitely had heard Mana. Dun, dun,
oh yeah. That's the most famous.
When
sketch.
that played, I was like, wait a second, that hit me from something like as a kid, and I'm like, wait, I remember saying this in school, and I'm like, I had to look it up, and then I realized, oh, it was the Muppets. But that was just something, somehow the Venn diagram crossed over. I had heard someone say it or whatever, but I wouldn't even have been able to tell you.
I think it's on like a lot of like kid friendly albums that schools play like for. I think like what I mean. It's on a lot of compilations for kids. Like when you want like a kid mix, like to play at a kindergarten party, that's always there. That song.
Huh.
You don't want to start playing Back That Ass Up at the kindergarten party.
Right. You can't play that. Well, you could, but
you could. Then don't be shocked when you get pregnant 10 years later.
Yep. Well, that's the Muppets, man. I don't know.
What did you grow up liking when you were a kid? What were you into? Were you into like the Transformers?
I was a Ghostbuster, into Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
And then like a little bit of Star Wars, and I kind of aged out.
Were you into Beavis and Butthead, or was that too before your time?
I didn't have cable.
Oh, okay. I didn't have cable either, but I did go see Beavis and Butthead Do America, and I bought the VHS. I used to rewatch it. So.
Okay. No, I don't. I mean, yeah, no. I was a Ninja Turtle. I was a big Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
I'd say that one got me. I was the eyes of the Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever noticed. They all just have black circles.
Yeah.
Except for Kermit. Kermit's got these weird lines that come out where he's always like sad.
Yeah, they're kind of iconic. His eyes. I think real frogs have eyes like that. I don't know.
It's like sad and soulful. And then Miss Piggy just has full on human eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're blue.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, so these two matter. Everyone else just gets these little beady eyes.
Can I tell? I can't say the names of who did this, but
another jerk off.
Another
jerk off will never make it.
Two comics. It's two.
An untalented asshole who has
these people are talented, but two comics were in a fight the other night at State of New York. And what?
A fist fight?
No, like a verbal fight. It's a man and a woman.
Okay.
And the male comic says to the female comic, "You look like Miss Piggy." And then I didn't know this part, but this part puts it over the top. He then pulls out his phone. Look, that's you. Like he had a photo of Miss Piggy at the ready.
Oh man.
Which I think it's one thing to call a woman Miss Piggy, but then all of a sudden have like a visual aid of Miss Piggy and be like, that's like really over the top.
This is you.
That wasn't me.
No, I'm saying he's saying to her, this is you.
Look, that's you, yeah.
But hold on, I need some context. What was this all about?
Spots. What else do comedians
just argue? Petty bullshit? And he goes, and he said, you look like her or you sound like her?
You look like her.
Okay. And does she?
No, I mean, no. Who? Come on, every woman's beautiful. Miss Piggy's a piggy, but when Miss Piggy showed up, I kind of want the Muppets to come back and do that scene. I kind of want someone to be like, "You look like Miss Piggy," and then grab Miss Piggy and be like, "This is you," in the woman's face. Like, and Miss Piggy's like trying to get out, and they're like just yelling, "No, this is you!" Like, literally take the Miss Piggy puppet off the puppeteer's hands, and beat the woman over the head with it. You're Miss Piggy. I
really want to know who. I want you to name names.
Oh yeah, as soon as the show's over.
Oh, okay, you'll let me know. Thanks.
Yeah. But I just like when Miss Piggy came on the screen, and I don't know if you know, remember Emily Blunt plays her secretary.
Yes.
Again, why don't you give? Do you think the reason why they don't give these people anything to do is that they just can't be like comedic or anything? Like, do you think they said to Emily Blunt, "Oh, improv with Miss Piggy," and she's just standing there staring at the fucking puppet like, "Hi, Miss Piggy."
Yeah, the gag was they came in, they don't have an appointment.
But then she goes in and Miss Piggy has like all this food on her snout.
Yeah, she's been stuffing her face with donuts.
Yeah, and I just, that's when I remembered that story, and I just was like laughing because I just like, I wonder if the picture was Miss Piggy with donut shit all over her snout. This is, I don't know. Sorry.
So, and what was the rebuttal? What did the female comic say to that?
I think they said "fuck you" or cried or something. Everything worked out eventually.
Everything worked out. They're both banned.
I would never fight with another comic at a comedy club. That's what I think. Like, go around the block.
Yeah, you say that now.
Oh yeah, I'll be fucking punching somebody at the stand, like Kermit.
Just wait till somebody breaks your tripod.
Oh well, that was cause for a fight. By the way, I wonder if he shot that fucking him and Joe List made a movie. I wonder if they shot that with my goddamn tripod. Like, I have this great tripod. It's been working 15 years. We'll shoot you in the Apollo scenes with it. Oh no, he broke the tripod. That's right. He didn't steal it.
I don't know. I'm going on what you put on Facebook.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. But yeah, all in all, I feel bad. This was your first introduction to the Muppets.
It's as good as any.
No, this is bad. This is like no one's ever heard of Superman, and I give you Batman v Superman.
Oh, okay. Maniacal laugh.
Oh, that was not fun. Did you like that?
Who was that guy?
That was Chris Cooper. He was in American Beauty.
Oh,
Remember?
he's the next door neighbor who ends up blowing his brains
kisses
out.
Kevin Spacey, and then
whoa.
Kevin Spacey kisses him. I don't know. They shoot each other.
He blows. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he blows his brains out in the kitchen table.
He sees Kevin Spacey's hard drive and blows his brains out.
No, okay, but he had those two henchmen.
Yeah.
Are those original Muppets, or does that just exist for this movie?
They were kind of like obscure Muppets. I was actually afraid of the Muppet with the tentacles on its back. I was afraid of that Muppet.
The guy that ultimately kind of saves the day.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I was shocked that he had such a big role because he wasn't around a lot, and he was like in this one Muppet Golden Book, and he was like the villain. And I don't know, I thought he was like a Muppet that would eat you. I thought he killed like the other Muppets, but now I see him like, why was he scared of this Muppet?
That's so funny. Well, his name is Deathly.
Deathly, yeah. I think that's why I thought he was like a killer of Muppets.
Yeah, I mean, they're laying it on kind of thick, and then they let him have this, this storyline where he kind of has a redemption. Mm-hmm. And like, who cares? And for what? And whatever. It just
because he's never been developed up until this movie. I thought I imagined him for years. I had to like look him up one day. Like,
wow.
When I came over, my friend put on the original Muppet film because that's what he wanted to watch for his birthday a year ago. I actually looked up that Muppet because I thought like I like dreamt it, and
it's been haunting you.
Been haunting me. I think someone did something with that Muppet.
This is your sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah.
It's definitely the
what do you think of Chris Cooper's rap about how rich he is?
I thought the gag about that they came $999,000 raised, so they were like $1 short, which is funny in itself. And then there's a glitch in the system, and they realized they hadn't even raised 100,000.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty funny. I like the fact that he raised no money. Yeah, that was good.
That was pretty good. The they make a lot of like industry. They're like Inside Hollywood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They
were always kind of like that. Even the Muppet Show is like, like on the Muppet Show, Kermit's like the stage manager. So you'll see sketches on the stage and then backstage bullshit going on. Oh, watch the Mark Hamill episode. If you like Star Wars, watch that episode.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good because he hosts as Luke Skywalker and he brings Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2. So it's kind of part of Star Wars canon.
Nice.
Yeah, so watch that. Actually, watch that one before you watch Richard Pryor.
I read recently an interview with Harrison Ford. I had no idea, but he like really resents, I guess, the fanfare, and I don't know if he actually hates George Lucas, but he was like, I hope he dies. Like it was
yeah, I don't know why he doesn't like Han Solo so much.
He's so sick of answering questions. He goes, I wish I never did it. He goes, listen, they gave me a lot of money, but I would have made a lot of money anyway. I was like, damn, this guy really hates Star Wars.
I mean, I think he's one of the reasons why the original Star Wars works because
Han Solo's the man.
Yeah, and the reason why that first movie works, and I know the prequels doesn't, is that you have that character constantly being like, this is fucking stupid, this is fucking dumb, they blew up a planet, let's get the fuck out of here. And he goes along with the movie, but constantly he's telling you how ridiculous this is and how dumb Obi-Wan is.
We should just be looking out for ourselves.
Yeah, and that's kind of because, like, if you're a moviegoer in 1977, you don't know anything. You don't know what Star Wars is, and this guy's like, "There's no Force." In your mind, you're kind of thinking like, "This is kind of fucking dumb." And when he says it out loud, but then at the end of the movie, he like saves Luke, and they use the Force called Death Star. When he believes it, you believe it, and that's what makes the movie work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you
And
watching
he's
Obi-Wan, by the way?
and he's fallen in love with Leia, I guess.
Yeah. Have you watched Obi-Wan at all?
If you believe in love.
Yeah.
No, I do a thing where I let the whole series come out.
Okay.
I just want to watch the whole thing. So I kind of just wait and try to avoid spoilers the best I can.
I will say this, unless everyone involved has amnesia, that first Star Wars movie now makes no fucking sense. That's all I'll say.
Which one?
New Hope. The first, I hate calling it New Hope. To me, it's just Star Wars. The
Episode
77 one.
4.
Yeah, 4, yeah.
It makes no sense. And the Obi-Wan.
It's going to make no sense unless even I've only seen 2 episodes. But unless at the end of episode 6, everyone gets conked in the head and they forget what just happened, none of that movie is going to make sense.
I'm getting a little fatigued about this whole multiverse. Every freaking movie and show is a multiverse now.
Everything, like right now, The Boys is on, Stranger Things, Obi-Wan, Top Gun. And when I was a kid, I would dream of like, imagine all these things cater to me, because when we were kids, it was like fucking Friends and fucking ER all fucking day. And I just realized, you know what happens when everything's catered to you? You just don't watch anything. It's like I don't have time to sit here and watch all of Stranger Things, all of Obi-Wan, all of The Boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did watch Stranger Things. I'm up to date on that one, even though there's 2 that haven't come out yet, but they released most of it.
I haven't seen any of Stranger Things past season 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So then forget it, dude. You're in another world. You're in the upside down.
I'm doing podcasts about the fucking Muppet film from 11 years ago. Everyone else talking about Stranger Things and school shootings, and I'm like, what do you think of Jason Segel? Jason Segel hasn't worked since this movie.
He was in a movie called Windfall that I did on my podcast with Rooney.
Oh, okay. How was that? Was it good?
I really enjoyed it, and it's a tight 90-minute movie.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm tired of every movie being so fucking long. What was the movie I saw recently that was like, why the fuck is this so long? I think it was a superhero film. Oh, the Batman. They could have cut that by a half hour, and I love Batman.
Do you know that I went to see the new Batman with what's the actor's name?
Robert Pattinson.
I almost said Orlando Bloom. Hello.
That would have been a good Batman.
That guy's like old. But anyway, yeah, Robert Pattinson. And I'm sitting in the theater. There's only one other person in there, completely empty. Gotta love that. And it starts to freeze. And it's weird because it's not film. I've been in a theater years ago when something would go wrong. It's like there was a
film would break.
That there was something happening to, and I'm like, there's no film. What is this? And it was something about the Wi-Fi or whatever. I don't know, the server. That's what it was. The server.
Yeah, apparently now they upload these films on a server, and you basically are streaming.
So it freezes, right? And it for 5 seconds, pretty substantial, but it's like whatever. We'll just keep watching. We sat there, and by the end of it, it had added 25 minutes of all the freezing, 25 extra minutes.
Wow.
So we walk out, and the other person that was in there left. Like he left, he couldn't watch it. And I sit through the end because I'm like, I just want to know what happens. I know that this viewing is awful. It's not enjoyable. But I just want to get to the end of it. I want to see what happens. I walk out of there. The owner of the theater is just waiting at the door with free passes, which I think they expire in July. Actually, I got to go.
You should go see Top Gun. Yeah.
And he goes, I can't believe you stayed. I cannot. He's like, it's frozen before it added 2 minutes. It's like this added, and that's how I know. He was like, it added 25 minutes to the runtime. He goes, I can't believe that you stayed. And I'm looking at him like, man, I feel like a loser.
Yeah, because between the movie's runtime, the trailers, and the freezing, you were there for maybe over 4 hours.
Oh my! I was just I'm like, I'm going to the movies.
When you go to the movies, you don't fucking leave.
No, that's it. I was like, there's no way you're pulling me out of here. But then, thank God, they put it on HBO, I think.
HBO Max, yeah.
So I was able to watch it, and it really changed the whole movie because that freezing took me out of it so bad. I mean, it was freezing at vital points, and like.
I mean, that movie is slow without the freezing.
Oh my! And it would freeze, and Batman's face is like an inch from the screen with his mouth open. Like it looks so dumb. It's like this is the pivotal. He's like going to save Gotham, even though some people will die. Like, here's the thing about this Batman: he loses. The Riddler is a step ahead of him, every single step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
I
in
mean,
that
I
way,
liked it when I first saw it, but I don't think I could sit through it again. And to me, that means the movie wasn't that good because I should be, if I liked it so much, it would be nothing to sit through.
right, it's super moody and it's all about Batman, not about Clark Kent at all.
Mhm. I really can't believe, like, I had this when I did the Star Wars season of the podcast. I'll never forget, like, I think I paused Solo, and I'd seen that movie twice already. And I was like, how the fuck is there, like, another 90 minutes in this movie? Like, Jesus Christ. And the same thing, this Muppet film, I was like, oh, this is almost done. Maybe I can go grab food before I podcast. And it was like an hour in, there was another 50 minutes. And I'm like, where the fuck is this movie going to go for 15 fucking minutes?
It takes forever, dude.
Yeah. Like, come on, bro. You could have cut, like, you weren't saying, I really need 2 Jason Segel dance numbers. No.
Yep. And they do those.
I didn't go to see a Muppet film for fucking Jason Segel dancing. No one wants to see that.
They had to sneak in those chickens. Even the chickens got a song clucking. I was like,
yes.
well,
Oh, I guarantee you, by the way, because Amy Adams had a song, the studio said, if we're paying for Amy Adams, she's doing shit. She's not just going to stay. Because most of the movie, she's just standing there while the Muppets do everything.
well, she has a thing growing inside of her that her boyfriend doesn't care for her and missed the 10-year anniversary. That's her whole.
When you said thing going inside of her, I was like, she was pregnant? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, she's actually a Muppet. That's not even.
Be funny if she gave birth to a Muppet at the end of the film.
There's a hand up her ass the entire movie.
She looked like she didn't want to be there. I think she was like, this will be great. And then she realized, because most of the movie, they're just kind of standing there, her and Jason.
Yeah.
Like to the side, like 2 fucking jerk offs.
That's word of the day for you, my friend.
Yeah, fucking. Nah, you know what it was? So, like, back to, like, I worked with this person. They do, like, a history of China with their puppets and a Twitch. And it's like, nobody wants to see any of this. Can you do something funny with the puppets? Like I don't need artsy puppets. I don't need art with the puppet. I need you to make, I want the puppets to make me laugh.
Right.
Well, this is the thing. Whether puppets and stand-up comedians, we're both fucking clowns. Just make people laugh. I don't want to think with a Muppet. Just fucking have the Muppets sing a silly song.
Did you like the movie with the marionettes, America World Police?
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's good. The way to use Muppets.
That was really good. Those, I guess, they're not really Muppets, but that's
puppets. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that movie's funny as hell.
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it. Everyone else is clueless. Everyone should be ashamed.
You're never gonna make it.
Really, I want to sit down the puppet industry and be like, you guys are just failing completely. You guys, like Jim Henson's probably rotting in hell because you people have just aborted his art form. You got to blow it all up. You got to change everything. You got to change because this is not good.
I'd rather break down on the side of the LIE than ever have to watch another Muppet movie.
I love that this movie's supposed to be this uplifting, happy thing, and this podcast is all about, like, I was suicidal, I started stand-up, she's a jerk-off with her puppets. You look like Miss Piggy is just this negative connotation you just throw at women when you just want to ruin their fucking self-esteem.
Well, the whole thing's about life's only worth it if you have somebody there with you. So
most of us comedians are alone. So
not the movie to be watching alone.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the 2 dogs. I see a cat here. I didn't know you had a cat.
Oh yeah. And then here's one of the dogs. She's my co-host, Jasmine, and the cat interferes. The fuck was I gonna say to you about Muppets? Oh, also, this is another thing I fucking hated. That new Muppet, Gary, had no. What was his personality? I like Muppets. He had no personality. He said nothing funny. He did nothing funny. And then the big moment where he's gonna save the fucking theater is he whistles. That's the best you could come up with.
He whistles.
With this goofy fucking Muppet I had to spend 2 hours with. I don't want to see Gary the Muppet. I want to see that's time taken away from Animal and Fonzie. Gonzo's barely in this fucking movie, by the way. He has like 10 lines.
Is he the one who ends up being like a union worker or something?
Yeah. I got this Gary puppet whistling. Who the fuck thought that was Muppets used to do dance numbers with Richard Pryor. They used to tap dance with Gregory Hines and Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield, and it used to be like this big celebration, a stand-up That was thinking like about the Muppets because you'd have comedians who would say like all this. Now I just feel like there's this adversarial, like, oh, you don't like jokes. But like you'd have comedians who would go on stage to tell rape jokes. You'd have comedians go on stage that did like singing, and they would all get together on the Muppet Show with the Muppets and with artistry and Stallone, and they would all just fucking dance and have a good time with the Muppets. It's like, you know what? Doesn't matter if you're a dirty comic, if you're a happy comic, if you're a jerk off with a hand up a Muppet's ass. We're all in this together. And now it's just like this fucking Gary puppets whistling. Get the fuck out of here.
You wanted Joe Rogan on stage with Kermit.
I wanted Joe Rogan on stage with Kermit
and Hannah Gadsby
Andrew
with Miss
Schultz,
Piggy.
Louis C.K. jerking off in front of Miss Piggy.
There you go.
That's what I want.
Wow.
What?
Easy for the cleanup, I guess. Jeez.
I know. Hey, easy for the. Oh, thank you. Son of a bitch. Broke my tripod. Didn't even put me in this movie. Anyway. Shit, I have one more thing to say to you. Whatever. It's a good podcast, right?
What's that?
This is a fun podcast, right?
Yeah, man. I think we did it. I don't know. How long do you make them?
Oh no, we're about to end.
Okay.
So what give me what anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
_ Mike Toohey on all social media, and Grilled Cheese Comedy. That's the name of the production. When I produce shows, it's Grilled Cheese Comedy.
And you have the show at Eastville.
Every Sunday night, Eastville Comedy Club, 8 p.m.
I got a quick story about that.
It's great.
I had another story for you that I want, because I have a story for you I want to share off the air, but like I had another story for you on the air that I can't fucking remember.
Okay.
And it's probably about how Muppets are bullshit. And anyway, but all right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, next week we're going to do Muppets Most Wanted with Ricky Gervais. I actually want you to do that one because in the car ride, our 5-second car ride before it broke down, we were talking about how Ricky Gervais' special is going to be like so crazy that people are going to protest. We were already protesting, and now it's out.
I haven't watched it yet.
The main character of the very last Muppet film that's ever been made. So I want you on that one, but then Lindsay Thiessen bailed twice, so she's going to be the guest. If she bails a third time, that's my fault. She's going to be the guest next week. Muppets Most Wanted, the final Muppet film, and then guys, I want to announce what season 7 is going to be. We are going to do all the Pirates of the Caribbean films to celebrate Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. What's your take on Johnny Depp before we get out of here?
There you go. I don't care. I watch a clip or two on Twitter, something that's funny. I don't get too involved. The celebrity.
Yeah,
crap.
I don't care either way. But I do think that he has more of a case than her. But that's a whole other story. Guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, we got an archive. Tons of old episodes, Spider-Man films, Star Wars films, Disney films. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Ray Gootz. All the podcasts, Gootz Disney Pod. Mike, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to try to have you back on with something you're more like into. We'll figure it out.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. And let me tell you something. Jason Segel, go fuck yourself. All right, guys. Thanks.